Frog God, Frog God.
Hey Frog God fans, it's your new tadpoles here, Alice, aka Lala Twiddle, and Brandon below me.
Howdy, howdy.
So up until now, we've been doing some interviews and talking about some upcoming products for Frog God since we've joined. But tonight we're going to be shifting gears and talk about the fact that we're going to bring some fun into our segments in the way of some actual plays. We're going to be cutting them down into short segments, but first game we're going to be playing is going to be Bards Gate, and Brandon has kindly offered to GM us. So, hi Brandon. I'm excited to
Howdy,
play.
howdy. Yeah, well, I don't know if we're covering all of Bard's Gate. We're gonna sit down and do one of the early adventures in it. So I think we were gonna talk a little bit about that pretty massive tome that the Bard's Gate book is. It comes in at over 500 pages.
I know. Well, it's a very
That's the PDF. So there are maps that are part of that, but
it is a very iconic adventure for Frog God. It's one that very much sets up a lot of this region. And speaking of the region, it is in Akados. So, Brandon, you've read a little bit more than I have because I'm trying to avoid spoilers. Do you want to tell our viewers a little bit of what they should expect?
well, Bardsgate, the city is a free city out in, as Alice was saying, Akados. It's not beholden to another kingdom and has recently, is I think it's like 800 plus years around since the founding of it, has built itself up for that. It's along the Stoneheart River, giving it a major source of trade throughout the region and making it a very good hub. Part of what made it important is the river is very hard to cross, and so Bardsgate itself is at the only place that I guess they could build a bridge across the river. So it made it a good land, a good place for the road to go through. It's a good port as well. The people have been generally fairly free minded. Have not wanted to support a military or anything like that because they've feared of setting up a tyrant. And that recently, within, I think it's about the last 20 years, has changed. I don't remember exactly where in that last 20 years, but they, Bardsgate itself was attacked by gnolls that are a fairly frequent threat from the hills and mountains nearby, which I have to love. Gnolls aren't an enemy that you see all that often in a lot of adventures. And so just the fact that they've got a very strong presence in this area is something that I liked a lot. It's goblins and orcs are often the focus on those low level monsters. Gnolls is one that I'm happy. After they were able to fight off the gnolls, they voted in, got this new military. They spent time repairing the walls, making certain that things were going to be well defended, and that's when these desert warriors, the Hun, it's Hun, so I'm not certain on my pronunciation there, but they sieged Bard's Gate for 14 months. They weren't able to capture the river though, and so that's how Bard's Gate kept getting supplies in during that 14-month siege. And they broke that, and the people are kind of looking for towards the future at this point. That they're wanting a better life, a better place, and that things have gotten kind of bad lately, and they're just hoping that everything's going to get better. What about you, Alice? What have you been reading?
Well, I was reading that Bard's Gate actually is a region, not just a city, because of the way that it's set up. And I think it's very interesting the diverse number of terrain types that are there. It really allows you to make characters from a lot of different backgrounds and a lot of different ethnicities, as well as, well, races, and a lot of diverse skill sets because of that, and trades and professions. So I'm really trying to figure out amongst my billion different character concepts what I'm going to be playing, since we're going to be playing with some frogs, and so we're going to get to do a character gen tomorrow, as I recall. This is going to be exciting.
That sounds awesome. I look forward to it. We're hoping to get some playtime tomorrow as well in, but yeah.
Yes.
So,
And
but what Alice is talking about is very true. The population of Bard's Gate during the winter, it comes up to 200,000. During the summer, it's down at about 90,000. But so the population that they claim is 125,000. About 40 some thousand of that is non-humans. There's a huge amount of elves and half elves in the area, possibly because the city is very craftsman based, including magical crafts, and that might be part of what attracts them. Also, the importance of music. Bardsgate is a place that a lot of scalds and bards do come to. That's being part of how it's got its name. It's also in the Lyre, Lyre Valley, and so that is also part of how it's getting its name. The dwarves live up in the mountains not too far, and they also have a large presence. And so you've got a lot of different races. And to me, that's something I always like in my fantasy. Generally, I'm like, I don't want to play the human. I want to play one of the other races.
Well, in addition to the standard races that we'll be seeing, like the elves, half elves, dwarves, and gnomes and halflings, and of course half orcs, I noticed that there's a very large population of rat folk in Bard's
Yeah, I
Gate.
saw that too. I
So,
don't have the information on that yet, but I'm trying to read into the setting and figure some more stuff out as I'm going along. So
well, as we've established, Brandon and I are tadpoles here, and we are trying to learn the material as we go and play and just enjoy ourselves along the journey. So we've learned a lot already, and we're going to be learning a lot more and get to play while we do so. This is an awesome, awesome thing. I love that. So, yeah, I'm actually very interested in understanding a little bit more about the religion of the area because you know me, I like to make sure I play relatively religious characters, regardless of what class I end up picking. I tend to end up having some faith in my
well,
characters.
for Bard's Gate, they have a patron god of
Ogma?
Ogma,
Mm-hmm.
um, who to me cleaves very close to that Forgotten Realms name, and so I'm not certain if I'm supposed to pronounce it a little differently or not. But even beyond that, there's a lot of different gods that are available within the city here. That they try and be a fairly accepting and open religious place. So a lot of different options for you.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm looking forward to getting to know a little bit more about that. So you mentioned that there's going to be a lot of that this is a trade and commerce city, which I also read about that. What regions around us do they trade with a lot? And so therefore I can think about for my character creation from coming from what kind of.
It's going to be all the different free cities and such throughout Akados that they are dealing with, and so while they aren't on the coast, the river that's coming out of, and I think it was Stoneheart River,
Mhm.
the river that's coming out is a major one, and so they can do a lot of trade up and down that before it ever gets out to the sea. Um, and so, from the reading that I've been doing, they're right along two major thoroughfares, and so it's not who are they trading with; it's they're trading with everybody in the local area. Um,
Yeah, we.
it's go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Bard's Gate feeds into the Gulf of Akados, as I recall, right? And Free Gate, being at the mouth of it, is actually the setting of a module that I intend to be running very soon. So, I that's something that's interesting to me.
Yeah, it takes a while before it feeds out to the out to the ocean, and I think that it's actually happening down at East Gate, which is not too far away from like Rapanathuk, I think.
Mm. Yeah, that's another module that I am looking forward to delving a bit more into because there have been such awesome statements about it, and I want to, well, I want to either run it or play it very, very soon. I
It
know
is legendary.
it is. I know I've read a little bit of it, but I've never gotten to actually play it. So maybe I'll end up being the GM since I have read a little bit of it.
I know I've touched it a tiny bit
Hmm.
somewhere in its 20-year history, and I mean that's a game that Rapanathek, it was came out for third edition. It has a fifth edition version. I think there's a Pathfinder version, and it is the character sheets that have been turned in for that one are legendary and in so many different editions. Um, I'd love to see it. It's supposed to be an absolute slaughter fest if you don't play it carefully, though.
Well, one last thing we do want to hit on before we log out and sign out for the night is that we will be playing this on Fantasy Grounds, and I will be streaming a player view for everyone to see of the battle maps and the dice and the tabletop, as well as the fact that you will be perceiving the line of sight and the lighting through my character's perspective as a result. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
it's line of sight is something new for Fantasy Grounds with Fantasy Grounds Unity. It's still in beta. We were actually troubleshooting a little bit earlier tonight on trying to figure out, and Vowels was nice enough to bring me up the solution.
everything okay there?
Yeah, sometimes my laptop just goes to its lock screen,
Uh huh.
and it hasn't happened for a while. And so I was very surprised when it did. I immediately was like, I'm plugged in, right?
Oops.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm looking forward to our game. We have Vowels playing with us, we'll have Pex playing with us, and we'll have John Hook playing with us. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. I don't know what they're going to make, and I think I want to. I don't know what I want to make either. So, but yes, once again, you'll be watching it from my perspective as I will be streaming instead of the GM's perspective. So,
Uh, Please come on in and watch. We we were as a group kind of talking about which game that Frog God supports would be the most interesting. So I'm interested to know what you guys think would be the one that you want to see the most. So
yeah, please leave a comment and let us know because we'll start running something next. We're going to be doing more of these as we go on. Grab a couple frogs and run some games. Whether or not we are going to run the entire adventure module for something is up in the air because we kind of want this to be a preview for you all so that we're not giving all the content away and spoilers and such. But at the same time, we might want to play it all the way through. So I guess we'll just play it by ear. So just make sure you let us know, and we will see about picking that up as our next either IGM or Brandon will. Anything else you want to add, Brandon?
I'm all good. Come
Okay.
back next time.
Yep. Bye.